Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Puri Vrajakacharya Ashtotara Satashri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Brindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mayi Ki Jai. Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone for Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 in New York, and today we are picking up with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead, starting with text number 45 tonight. Jai Maharaj, thank you for being with us. It appears that you're in a moving or soon-to-be moving vehicle.
It's moving.
Jai.
There are two kinds of entities, moving and non-moving. So this is the moving.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Woodbrook Drive.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Bhagavatam 4:12-45. Dhanyang yashasyam ayushyam punyang svastyayanang mahat svargyang drovyang somanasyam prashasyam aghamarsanam. By hearing the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, one can fulfill desires for wealth, reputation, and increased duration of life. It is so auspicious that one can even go to a heavenly planet or attain Dhruvaloka, which was achieved by Dhruva Maharaj, just by hearing about him. The demigods also become pleased because this narration is so glorious and it is so powerful that it can counteract all the results of one's sinful actions. Purport: there are different types of men in this world, not all of them pure devotees. Some are karmis, desiring to acquire vast wealth. There are also persons who are only after reputation. Some desire to be elevated to the heavenly planets or to go to Dhruvaloka, and others want to please the demigods to get material profits. Herein it is recommended by Maitreya that every one of them can hear the narration about Dhruva Maharaj and thus get their desired goal. It is recommended that the devotees, akama, the karmis, sarvakama, and the jnanis who desire to be liberated, mokshakama, should all worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to acquire their desired goals of life. Similarly, if anyone hears about the activities of the Lord's devotee, he can achieve the same result. There is no difference between the activities and character of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and those of his pure devotees. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I found it amusing. Prabhupada starts the purport. There are different types of men in this world, not all of them pure devotees, which is a great understatement, since most of them are far from pure devotees. And then he takes some time to expand on the akama sarvakamava moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. That verse that extols the glories of pure devotional service, or let's say tivrena bhakti yogena, intense devotional service, recommended for anyone, whatever your desires may be, whatever category you might fall into. It occurred to me that we all have been in this material world a long time, and we have many reactions, many actions, and also many desires stored up. Some we're conscious of, some we're acting on, some we decided not to act on anymore, some we tried to sublimate, but we're full of desires. It's a symptom of the living entity to be desiring something, and this is evidently the way to fulfill all desires, by hearing such auspicious narrations. And Prabhupada says here, if anyone hears about the activities of the Lord's devotee, he can achieve the same result. In other words, whatever their desired goal of life is, which is very encouraging. So, Hare Krishna. So important to hear about the Lord's pure devotees. Maharaj, would you like to say anything on this?
Well covered.
Hare Krishna. I am hoping that everyone in this Sangha, or at least most of those in this Sangha, have been well informed about the change in schedule, and that our viewership shall pick up, if not today, then soon. So Hare Krishna. I'm trying to see who else might be able to read. Saraswati Mata, are you available to read our text 46?
Yes. Pranams Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Text 46. Shrutvatya chatriya bhikshanam achyutya priya chestitam bhavat bhaktir bhagavati yayasayat klesha sankshayaha. Translation. Anyone who hears the narration of Dhruva Maharaja and who repeatedly tries with faith and devotion to understand his pure character attains the pure devotional platform and executes pure devotional service. By such activities, one can diminish the threefold miserable conditions of material life. Purport. Here the word Achyutya Priya is very significant. Dhruva Maharaja's character and reputation are great because he is very dear to Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Lord are pleasing to hear, hearing about his devotees who are very dear to the Supreme Person is also pleasing and potent. If one simply reads over and over again about Dhruva Maharaja by hearing and reading this chapter, one can attain the highest perfection of life in any way he desires. Most importantly, he gets the chance to become a great devotee. To become a great devotee means to finish all miserable conditions of materialistic life. Om Jnanantimirindasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. It's made very clear that hearing about Krishna and his pure devotees is very important in order to progress in spiritual life. In fact, out of the 9 processes of bhakti, hearing, shravanam, is most important. And there is no difference in hearing about the pastimes of Krishna and his pure devotees, as long as it's done with faith and feeling, because that can elevate anyone on the platform of pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti. In contrast, hearing about anything else guarantees a continuation of imprisonment in the material world. To endlessly try to be happy by chasing things that ultimately only give misery. It's really a heavy price that conditional souls pay to permanently remain in darkness and in ignorance of their constitutional position and their permanent residence, which is the spiritual world. So this verse tells you how the process by which you can extract yourself from the illusion. It talks about the miserable conditions of materialistic life, and as much as materialists try to cover it up or sugarcoat it or deny it, or resign to the inevitable miseries, the fact is that there is something you can do about it. And just a reminder of what the threefold miseries are. Atatmika, which is suffering that pertains to the mind and body, and then Adidevika, which are miseries that are a result of natural disasters, which I don't know about currently, but insurance companies used to term that as acts of God. And Adibodhika, which are miseries that are inflicted by other living entities, whether they be friend or foe. And even if in the higher planetary systems one may find that the miserable conditions may be significantly less, the fact is that one still has to endure birth, death, old age, and disease, which are all ubiquitous to life in the material world. So hearing about pure devotees like Dhruva gives conditional souls hope and also the means to have the best life ever, which is a life that's lived in the spiritual world, Satchit Ananda. Srila Prabhupada speaks of how Krishna is so affectionate towards his devotees and who are very dear to him, which brings to mind the quote, Sadvo Hridayam Mayam, Sadhunam Hridayam Tva Aham. Pure devotees are my heart and live in my heart as I live in their heart. And pure devotees are always under the shelter, protection of Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita it states, Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashritaha. In contrast, the conditional souls are under the strict rules of the external energy of the Lord. So associating with Krishna is associating with Krishna, of course, is very important to connect us, but as is also important to associate with Krishna's devotees who are all extraordinary. And whether we associate with the pure devotees through sound, by hearing or chanting, or the other 9 processes of devotional service, the fact is once we do that, we do register on Krishna's radar. And this gives us an opportunity to also become a devotee that can be dear to Krishna by serving him faithfully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Maharaj, are you?
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastrachade Shatara Bhavet Bhaktir Bhagavati Yaya Syat Klesha Sankshaya. The incentives are there. You'll get wealth, you'll get fame, you can get elevation to higher planets, you can get all these things. But the benefit is, finally, Bhavad Bhaktir Bhagavati. By hearing these topics of Achyuta Priya, the Dhruva Maharaj, one can get pure devotional service, which is the real purpose or real benefit of the human form of life. The other things are not very important. Dhruva Maharaj saw that at the end, that I was after something worthless. But by his personal experience, although he wanted something worthless, he got the most valuable thing. So that opportunity is there for us also, that whatever our motives, if we simply give patient hearing to the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, and here particularly the topics of Dhruva Maharaj, then Paved Bhaktir Bhagavat, then we can reach the stage of Bhagavat Bhakti. Then all of our problems will be finished. Hare Krishna.
Jai Maharaj, thank you very much. We have some activity here in the chat window. Philip Prabhu says, and he quotes from the purport, attain the highest perfection of life in any way he desires, unquote. What's that mean? I don't want to misunderstand this statement, particularly, quote, in any way he desires. It sounds risky.
Whatever you consider the highest perfection, you can get that. The greatest wealth, the greatest fame, whatever it is you're desiring, you can get. But that's also we're dealing with a crazy car here. The driver doesn't know how to silence. Apologies for that. Oh, one can get whatever one considers the highest perfection, but finally, in fact, one can get the real perfection. Doesn't mean in any way you desire now you can do all nonsense and get everything. But if you sit and hear about Dhruva Katha, then you get all this good fortune, whatever you think is good fortune, wealth, fame, you can get that. But finally, Paved Bhaktir Bhagavati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Murai Gupta Prabhu says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, do these benedictions offered in Bhagavatam from hearing the story of Dhruva Maharaj apply to the general public in Kali Yuga, or are they relevant to a more sane society based on Varnashram Dharma? For example, if someone made a movie of Dhruva Maharaj, would all the benedictions apply to anyone who watched it?
Yes. If you go on watching that movie, problem is that you'll watch that movie and then you'll watch some other nonsense. That Mahabharata became the thrill of India. Everyone flocked to wherever there was a television set. And then it was fixed that, yes, television is good. Then after that, all rubbish. But if one tuned out everything else and simply heard about Dhruva Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Arjuna, Krishna, then yes, it's always powerful.
One thing strikes me here, Maharaj, is we're now coming to the end of this chapter, and we've been reading about the activities of Dhruva Maharaj for quite some time, months, actually. It's very sweet to come to the end of this and hear all these benedictions that we've imperceptibly already received. And
But now that we're reaching the end, we should know better. We've heard that how Dhruva Maharaj got all those things and how he thought of himself as foolish for wanting them. But sometimes these desires are very, very strong. Even Dhruva Maharaj, Narad Muni came and said, yes, you can go home. You don't need to do all of this. No, I'm a Kshatriya. I just can't follow your instructions. So sometimes desire may be very strong. One knows one shouldn't want wealth, one shouldn't want fame. Still one has that desire. But all right, if one engages in devotional service, then all perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Saraswati Mata, please go ahead.
Yes, I have two questions. The first one is, what do we know anything about Dhruv's past life? Because it really is extraordinary how at such a young age in this one lifetime he achieved all perfection. So do we know whether he had already attained a lot of progress in his previous life, and therefore in this life it was just a continuation?
He must have, because no one gets devotion service without some background. But I don't know any history.
And
But I don't know.
And my second question is, just like materialists, they have their heroes. If a pure devotee, like Dhruv Maharaja, becomes a conditional soul's hero, and then they think of him at the time of death, so is that the same as somebody thinking about Krishna at the time of death, the same result? Hare Krishna.
Or better, Achyuta Priya, to think of those who are dear to Krishna, may be better than hearing about Krishna. That's our process. It's not so much to become dear to Krishna, but dear to those who are dear to Krishna. Yeah. Yadapashraya Ashraya. To take shelter of those who've taken shelter. That's still better.
Jai, thank you. Philip Prabhu, are you available and able to read our text 47?
Yes, I'm not sure how good the sound will be. My internet's not great here, so just let me know if you have any trouble hearing me.
So far, your audio is okay.
Wonderful. Okay. Matvam ichatam tirtam shrotu shiladhayo gunaha yatra tejas tad ichunam mano yatra manasvinam. Translation: anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like him. For anyone who desires greatness, prowess, or influence, here is the process by which to acquire them, and for thoughtful men who want adoration, here is the proper means. Purport: in the material world, everyone is after profit, respectability, and reputation. Everyone wants the supreme exalted position, and everyone wants to hear about the great qualities of exalted persons. All ambitions which are desirable for great persons can be fulfilled simply by reading and understanding the narration of Dhruva Maharaj's activities. Super interesting. Though I wonder, I'm curious, I see many people, their heroes or the people they look up to, quite degrading. How to take people who kind of, are attracted to these heroic, so-called heroic figures who do all sorts of deplorable things and bring them into appreciation of characters like Dhruva Maharaj, who are also quite heroic but don't engage in a lot of the nonsense that's propagated in movies nowadays and TV.
Well, we can see they have the tendency to hear about the hero. They're interested in hearing about someone great. They're not, that quality is there. People like to read histories. People like to read biographies. People want to see biopics, whatever it is. They're interested in some great person. So good. That's natural. That's very nice. So now hear about these great persons, Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj. You're interested in hearing about someone great, so come on. We don't have to discourage you. Why are you wasting your time hearing about this politician, this actor, this that. You have a tendency to hear others. Very nice. So now hear about Krishna, Krishna's devotees. You'll like it.
You said before they'll see something nice and then watch something nonsense. But I suppose if we just continuously introduce more purifying things, I saw a video of ink. I don't remember who showed me, and they just flooded this vial with water, and the ink came out. So I guess if we can make relationship with someone and continuously try to introduce more heroic stories from the scriptures, then I suppose with time their attraction can change as they hear more and more and more, and they can get more interested in the scriptural pastimes and lose attraction for some of the nastier things that are put out there today.
And association. That yes, here's something wonderful to hear about, and here's the other people who are interested, and if you hear from them, or you hear in their company, you'll like it still more. And at the end, we'll feed you. You can eat very nicely. When you hear about Trump, or you hear about Napoleon, or you hear about Lady Gaga, or whoever you're hearing about, they don't feed you. You just get to watch the video or hear the news. But here you'll eat very nicely also. So you'll get nice hearing, you'll get nice company, you'll eat very nicely. What do you want?
Hare Krishna, impossible to say no to a proposition like that. Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai. Anything more from your side, Maharaj, on this verse?
Mahatvam Ichtatam. Prabhupada used to say, become great by serving the greatest. That means we have some interest in becoming great. Everyone wants to be great in one way or another, as much as they may protest. If they protest, it means they want to be great by being humble, by being self-effacing. But everyone wants to be great. That tendency is there. So Prabhupada said, become great by serving the greatest. When you serve the greatest, then you become great also. So Mahatvam Ichtatam. By serving Krishna, ordinary people have become great. Devotees may not all have been, the leading men of this material world. But even an ordinary person, a worker, a fruit seller, ordinary person becomes great by serving the greatest. There's so many. What was that? The flower seller in Mathura. Krishna asked for garland. Yes, take. Immediately became great, and so many others became great by serving the greatest. So it's practical. So many devotees who would have, might have just been ordinary people in this material world, but when they took up the service of Krishna, they became great. Even in practical affairs, like the people who are businessmen, there's anecdotes how some businessman in O'Hare Airport would watch a devotee for like 20 minutes or something and see how many books he was selling, and then approach the devotee and would you be willing to work for us? You're so good at this. So he was probably not much of a salesman, but when he came in touch with Krishna consciousness, then he became a great salesman also. one can become, what is that? Mukam karoti vācālam. Even a person who's, inarticulate can become a great speaker. He probably would have just been an ordinary Joe, but because he took up speaking about Krishna, he became a great speaker. And if he goes back to just speaking about ordinary rubbish, he becomes nothing again. But when one takes up this path, let me try to glorify Krishna, then he becomes great. He becomes great by serving the greatest. He may have no education, he may have no great cultural background. Even practically, our devotees, Western devotees, according to Indian culture, they're very, their background is low. Their, what would you say, way of life is uncivilized. But then they take to Krishna consciousness and they go to India and they're glorified as great sadhus, great people, big men want to touch their feet and respect them. Although materially they had no qualifications, and even spiritually they had no qualification. But when they take up this path of devotional service to Krishna, then they achieve greatness. They achieve greatness. One becomes great by serving the greatest. And the more one serves the greatest, the greater one becomes. This is the material approach is, let me become great. Let me do something by which I'll be achieve a thing and be recognized as great. People should see that I'm great. But the devotional path is not to want to be great, but to serve the great. And by serving the great, whatever desires I might have had to become great will automatically be satisfied. I don't have to do something. The devotees also can learn. I don't have to do something separate to try to enhance my prestige, to try to enhance my reputation, to try to achieve this, that. If I simply engage in the service of Krishna, greatness will follow me. I don't have to do even unwanted. Madhavendra Puri, Gopinath stole the sweet rice for him, so he knew that if I stay here, then people will start glorifying me. Oh, Madhavendra Puri. So he left town, went to Jagannath Puri from Ramuna. But already when he got to Jagannath Puri, his reputation had preceded him. So even without wanting to be, he became in society. So what is that? Chatrashir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitya. Everything follows. Krishna is there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. As you were speaking, I was thinking of how different devotees became so much elevated in their association with Srila Prabhupada, to the point where if Srila Prabhupada held something in very low esteem, they also changed their opinion about it. I remember one time your godbrother Brahmananda Prabhu was showing Prabhupada pictures of his he went to India when he was younger, and he met this girl there, and he showed Prabhupada a picture of her, and Prabhupada didn't think very much of her. And Brahmananda Prabhu says, after Prabhupada expressed his lack of appreciation, I lost all attraction.
Yes.
These things happen. We want to please the people that we admire.
Yes.
Saraswati Ma, please go ahead.
I was just thinking of this saying that Muslims have, Kushamat Allah ko bhi pyari hai. So it means Allah is also attracted to praise. But that word kushamat can also mean flattery, in which case there is a difference when you admire someone and or whether you're just trying to flatter them, because then it means they don't really have that, they're not qualified to accept that adoration. And it brings to mind something that I was reading about Prithu Maharaj, who, of course, was highly qualified to accept all kinds of worship, adoration. But he said, because I haven't exhibited any of those characteristics, if someone glorifies me, it's an insult. So, in one sense, the conditional souls, they're always after profit, adoration, and distinction, and then they also enjoy flattery and people sucking up to them, because it just makes them think that they so really are very important. I don't know what Maharaj has to say about that, but I was quite taken back by what Prithu Maharaj said, that unless one exhibits all that, all the things that they're being worshipped and adored for, it's nothing but an insult. Hare Krishna.
If we're going to flatter someone, better to flatter Krishna. The Prithu Maharaj said that, but on the other hand, the sages weren't wrong. The sages weren't wrong. Prithu Maharaj was humble and wanted to deflect the glorification. And it's instructive also to the ordinary person that you want to be glorified for great qualities you don't even have. But to glorify Krishna, even if it's for whatever reason, I have some desire, I want to get something. Still, if we glorify Krishna, that will be good for us. The Prabhupada one time said that, was talking about Balaram, about Krishna flattering Balaram. I don't know if it was exactly what was behind the choice of words, but in that, when Krishna and Balaram were walking, Krishna is saying, "Oh, these trees are bowing down to touch your lotus feet. The bees are all chanting your glory." So Prabhupada said that Krishna was flattering Balaram. Of course, Balaram had those great qualities. But anyway, if we're going to flatter, let's flatter Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai, Jai. Moving on, I think, to text 48. But wait, Murari Gupta Prabhu says, Krishna loves to glorify his devotees, so there doesn't seem to be much chance to escape for his dearmost devotees.
Yes. Although Krishna may also sometimes send, infamy or ill fame to his devotees. Therefore, it's mentioned in the 12th chapter, Tulya Nindatma Samstuti. One should be equipoised, Tulya Nindatma Samstuti. Whether one is vilified, Ninda, or Samstuti, praised. And what it is, if they praise me, how much is that worth? And if they demonize me, who cares? So it's implicit that sometimes the devotees may also come upon ill fame. They may also be criticized. Vidura was criticized by Duryodhana. He's just the son of a kept mistress. He's always intriguing against our family. He should be beaten, thrown out. So sometimes it's not all flowers and kettle drums and bugles. Sometimes the devotee may also receive ill fame, but he knows. Nindatma Samstuti. What is it? What is this fame? That also, Saraswati Thakur, what is that this desire for reputation is like the stool of a hog. So, in this way, one should be indifferent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Praveen Krishna Prabhu offers that in reference to the Pala Shruti or Shruti Pala, Puranas are more palatable to conditioned souls because of such benedictions and stories.
Yes, the liberated souls don't care. Oh, I'll get fame. I'll get money. What will I do with fame? What will I do with money? But Bhagavat Bhakti Bhaved, that's the real Shruti fall for them. That by hearing this narration, I can get attraction to the lotus feet of Krishna. I can get bhakti for Krishna. That's their attraction. And the conditioned souls, oh, I can get a shot at fame, at wealth, at this, at that. So they may be attracted. They're also among the pious men, Sukrita and Arjuna. And then even those who are less pious, all right, it's a good story. Let me hear it. Whatever they may find in it, they'll like to hear it. So they'll also benefit. Hare Krishna.
Praveen provides some Sanskrit here. Jadera Pratishta Shukarera Vishta.
Yeah, Bengali.
Yes.
Saraswati Thakur's verse, that this glorification and desire for fame is like the stool of a hog, Shukra.
And Saraswati Mata offers that Draupadi was insulted in the worst way too, called a loose woman even though she is a sati. And Haridas Thakur was beaten many times in the marketplace.
Yes.
And Murai Gupta Prabhu says the devotee's steadfast determination in the face of adversity makes him glorious.
Yes, the devotee is in that way glorified by Krishna, not that Krishna just throws glory at him, but to become glorious in this world, something people generally, yes, perseverance and you have to go through some adversity so that you'll be glorified more. Krishna also.
Hare Krishna. Looking at our next verse, text 48, sort of long, but we may be able to have time to comment. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think here the best thing to do. Let's see. Priti Purnamadavi Devi, would you be able to read our text 48?
Yes, Raj. Prahitakirte pratah samavaya dvichanmanam sayam cha punye shlokasya Ruvasya charitam mahat. The great sage Maitreya recommended one should chant of the character and activities of Dhruva Maharaj both in the morning and in the evening with great attention and care in a society of Brahmanas or other twice-born persons. Purport. It is said that only in the association of devotees can one understand the importance of the character and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees. In this verse, it is specially recommended that Dhruv Maharaj's character be discussed in a society of the twice born, which refers to the qualified Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. One should especially seek the society of Brahmanas who are elevated to the position of Vaishnavas. Thus, discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes the character and pastimes of devotees and the Lord, is very quickly effective. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been organized for this purpose. In every center of the society, not only in the morning, evening, or noon, but practically 24 hours a day, there is continuous devotional service going on. Anyone who comes in contact with the society automatically becomes a devotee. We have actual experience that many karmis and others come to the society and find a very pleasing and peaceful atmosphere in the temples of ISKCON. In this verse, the word Dvi-janmana means of the twice born. Anyone can join the International Society for Krishna Consciousness and be initiated to become twice born. As recommended by Sanatan Goswami, by the process of initiation and authorized training, any man can become twice born. The first birth is made possible by the parents, and the second birth is made possible by the spiritual father and Vedic knowledge. Unless one is twice born, one cannot understand the transcendental characteristics of the Lord and his devotees. Study of the Vedas is therefore forbidden for Shudras. Simply by academic qualifications, a Shudra cannot understand the transcendental science. At the present moment, throughout the entire world, the education system is geared to produce Shudras. A big technologist is no more than a big Shudra. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. In the age of Kali, everyone is a Shudra. Because the whole population of the world consists only of Shudras, there is a decline of spiritual knowledge and people are unhappy. The Krishna consciousness movement has been started specially to create qualified Brahmanas to broadcast spiritual knowledge all over the world, for thus people may become very happy. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. So this reminds first paragraph where Srila Prabhupada mentions that these discussions should be done among the qualified Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, and Brahmanas who are elevated, especially Sikh, the society of Brahmanas who are elevated to the position of Vaishnavas. So this reminds me of one of the verses in Srimad Bhagavatam where it is mentioned about Shukdev Goswami that how Srimad Bhagavatam is especially relishable because it has been spoken from the mouth of Srila Shukdev Goswami as a fruit becomes more sweet when it is eaten by a parrot. And so devotees, because they have favorable feelings for the Lord, so discussion about Krishna Katha, about devotees of Krishna amongst such a society brings out fruitful discussions. Instead, if we discuss these things with people who are not at the platform of practicing devotional service, they are not able to relish because their minds are absorbed in fruitive activities. They are more inclined towards material gains or towards karmic activities. They may be able to listen, but they are not able to relish. And I was hearing once that when a Krishna Katha is going on, then it's not just about the speaker, it's also about the audience. And so there was an example given that if you are a very good washerman, you may have all the facilities, but if you go to a town of Naga Babas, then there is nothing you can do there because they don't wear clothes. You cannot do anything. So even if you are a very good speaker, so there is an importance of discussing Krishna Katha in such a in a qualified audience, at least who are seeking to devotional service, even though they may not be pure. And also in the end, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about how this present education system is producing more Shudras. Nowadays, earlier, it was not in a trend that, okay, fourth class, fifth class students are enrolled into, especially in India, there is a trend of going to IITs or to top medical schools. So earlier, we did not hear that fourth or fifth class students themselves have started preparing for it. It used to start in 11th standard, then gradually it came to 9th standard, and now it has come to 4th standard, 5th standard. People start teaching their kids coding. Um, we don't hear much examples of people starting to teach them Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, but there are extra coaching schools that they enroll them to. There are extra classes that they enroll them to so that they can learn coding, or they can become very good engineers and doctors, and they can start very early. So their brains are contaminated with that consciousness to earn more, to engage in material world, and their purpose of life, it seems, because they start so early into this. So children's minds are, it is said, it's like very soft like a clay. So we mold their minds in such a way that um, their thinking capability, it does not extend to spiritual acts, but it is already from the beginning, it is molded into to engage in Shudra activities. Because here Srila Prabhupada is saying something about the technology. A big technologist is no more than a big Shudra. So we may, and I also heard somewhere, Maharaj, you can please correct me, but when we are, let us say, if I'm working for a very good company, but if the owner of that organization uh, mm, is not a devotee, is not of good consciousness, then if I am drawing salary from such a place, then it will impact my consciousness also. Um, yeah, that's all I had. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Maharaj, would you like to comment here?
Two things. One, it's, yes, very important that it's not only the speaker, but it's the audience. The Shukadev Goswami had nothing to say to the women and children who were following him, out of curiosity and fun. But when he came to Naimisharanya, and there were, came to the bank of the Ganga, and Parikshit Maharaj was there, then he spoke Bhagavatam, not to the foolish, not to the foolish. So, and as Shukadev Goswami attained perfection by speaking, Parikshit Maharaj by hearing, and Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami was enlivened in speaking by the attentive hearing of Parikshit Maharaj. That's also was mentioned in the verse. Yes, prayata kirtiye. One should chant and hear with great attention, with great care, not casual, inattentive, sort of semi-interested hearing while I'm scanning my Instagram or what have you. So, but when the audience hears carefully, then that will be effective. The other thing is just see how unsparing Prabhupada is. There might be preachers today who would soften the blow and be more inclined to be charitable and generous, but Prabhupada, a big technologist, is a big Shudra. That's all. He gives no mitigation. You're training your son to be a big technologist, that means big Shudra. You're a big technologist, big Shudra, that's all. Prabhupada gives no credit that, no, actually, this is very important, respected, No, big Shudra. Unsparing. That was Prabhupada's style. Uncompromising, unsparing. Big technologist means big Shudra. We're not going to pretty it up. A pussyfoot. Big technologist means big Shudra. Hare Krishna.
Jai Maharaj, thank you very much. Ross Prabhu, could you close us out with a short kirtan?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita, Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mayi Ki Jai, Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ras Prabhu. And thank you everyone for being here. Thank you especially Maharaj. It's great to see you in all conditions, moving through the city in a moving vehicle. It's exciting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kendra Prabhu. Thank you to all. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.